morning, sweet peas. It's Mrs. Montgomery here with today's story. It is a really rainy, kind of yucky day today, so I thought I would read something very bright and colorful today. This story is Miss Spider's Tea Party by David Kirk. David is the author and the illustrator of this book. This book is a rhyming book, and it is about a spider who is misunderstood. Okay, so I think you're gonna like it. Let's see how a spider ends up having a tea party. Okay, so Miss Spider's Tea Party. One lonely spider sipped her tea while gazing at the sky. She watched the insects on the leaves and many flying by. If I had friends like these, she sighed, who'd stay a while with me, I'd sit them down on silken chairs and serve them cakes and tea. Now, why do you think nobody wants to have tea with a spider? Two timid beetles, Ike and May, crept from the woodwork that same day. But when Miss Spider said, "Please stay," they shrieked, "Oh no!" and dashed away. Three fireflies flew inside that night, their spirits high, their tails alight. They spied the web and squeaked in fear, "We'd better get away from here." The little trio did not feel they'd care to be a spider's meal. So it seems like all of these insects are terrified of Miss Spider, even though she just wants to have a tea party, right? And you also might notice that the numbers are going up. So first it was Miss Spider, then two beetles, then three fireflies. So what number do you think is coming next? Four bumblebees buzzed by outside. "Please come to tea," Miss Spider cried. The four ignored her, swaying there. She waved a tea towel in the air. She took a cup and tapped the glass. Then one bee spoke to her at last. "We would be fools to take our tea with anyone so spidery." Miss Spider. Within the shadows of the room, just peeking from behind a broom, 5 grinning faces bobbed and peered. Miss Spider smiled, her heart was cheered. Descending for a closer look, she danced into the gloomy nook, but sadly found those jolly mugs belonged, alas, to rubber bugs. She was so excited to see these happy faces, and they were toys, right? Some ants strode in. They numbered 6, but ants with spiders will not mix. She brewed them tea from hips of roses. The proud platoon turned up their noses. A fine bouquet concealed its prize of 7 dainty butterflies. Miss Spider, watching from the wall, was not aware of them at all. The tea table was set for 8, with saucers, cups, and silver plate. The cakes were fresh, the service gleamed, yet no one would arrive, it seemed. Her company in no demand left her a cup for every hand, because spiders have 8 legs, right? Nine spotted moths kept safe and warm in shelter from a thunderstorm. They stood beneath an open sash and watched the jagged lightning flash. Miss Spider dropped down on a thread, a silver tray above her head. She'd hoped to please them, but instead they flew away in mortal dread. So there she is, presenting her tray, and they are terrified. Go back, guy. They've left me all alone, she cried. She dabbed her eyes and sadly sighed. It's plain no bug will ever stay. Her tears splashed down upon her tray. Now these two have been watching for a while on the pages, and they're feeling, I think, a little bit sorry for her. Those big tears coming down. Ten tiny steaming cups of tea were perched atop her trembling knee. She sipped and sobbed, then heard a cough, and turned to see a small wet moth, a fragile thing, so soaked by rain, his wings too damp to fly again. She smiled and took a checkered cloth to cloak the frail and thankful moth. They talked and snacked on tea and pie until his tiny wings were dry. Then lifting him with tender care, she tossed him gently in the air. The moth told Ike, then Ike told May, who went from bug to say, there is no reason for alarm. She's never meant us any harm. So later on that afternoon, assembled in the dining room, 11 insects came to tea to share Miss Spider's courtesy. So they spread the word that she just wants to have tea. "12 tender violets in a vase, presented at Miss Spider's place, set by her chair so neatly spun. She munched the blossoms one by one. Her friends were glad to watch her feast upon the floral centerpiece. It was a great relief to see she ate just flowers and drank just tea. Miss Spider's reputation grew. Before too long our hostess knew each bug who crawled or hopped or flew, and all their lovely children too." There she is, munching her floral centerpiece. And here she is at the end, very happy that she finally had tea with some friends. And this part of the book, at the very back, my kids, when they were really little, they used to like to look at the bugs, and they used to count them, all these bugs, and they used to like to pick which one was their favorite too. That's something that they liked to do when they were little, right? And here's the back illustration. So, I hope you liked Miss Spider's tea party on this rainy, rainy day. And I hope you're all still doing well. Maybe you could have your own little tea party at home today. A real tea party with real tea, or a pretend tea party with your stuffed animals, right? That would be really fun. And tomorrow I'll be on with another story. It looks like it's going to rain a little bit tomorrow too, but it's also going to be really warm. And it's going to make us think of spring, which I think tomorrow is the actual first day of spring. So we'll have some spring weather, and it'll be a good day to get outside too. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I will see you tomorrow.